Feeling and playing like I've been the number one like all year, or we're both number ones. Is that something that a guy needs to have at this level, especially with EFO going down now?
I think when guys say you have to have confidence in your building, confidence in the system. And I think that's what Troy has. Troy's, being on the other side of EFO has got challenged early on. He got a lot of actions, and the action wasn't. He didn't see it as they attacked themselves. Opportunity to prove I can do it, and that's what he did. I think that's what you got to have. You have to have that belief that you can do it, an opportunity. And as we move forward, the next guys are going to get that opportunity to show that we can do it.
Don, talking about Troy, tell us about what you've seen in his growth since we saw him as a freshman, and he had a couple tough games like against USC, etc. Just your perspective on that.
I think Troy, last spring, Troy, he had played on and off his career, but last spring he kind of asserted himself, and all of a sudden we're going. Troy looked pretty good, and then fall camp he was MVP. I mean, he was unreal in fall camp, and at that point we said, we got there's another guy. Was injured in the Michigan State game, but showed a real high degree of competitiveness because I think he had a significant enough injury not to play anymore. And he asked for grace and went out and played and finished really strong. So we knew we had a guy. He's just continued to progress, every game since then. The thing that's really neat about Troy is Troy was a guy that wouldn't say much at all. He played, kind of do his thing. You see him over with his buddies and he talked with but on the field he wouldn't verbally. He would not be a vocal guy. And now he's feeling right at home, communicating, talking. He's developed a guy in all aspects for us.
You mentioned Mark's personality in there about the way he motivates guys. How is he different in 2 years now? Say the first 2 years under Chip. Like what's changed between he and Chip?
It's just Mark's true personality is shining. And so you take over a program and you kind of tweak some things, and then in the second year, whatever's inside you starts to really come out, and that's what's happening. Mark. The way he talks to our kids in the meetings, those kids love it. And we all do. It's wonderful. And that's a big part of our success. And those guys, Coach asks them to work hard, they're going to work hard. We're working hard. Whatever he says, we're doing it. And that's what we have to do right now.
Coach, run game, pass game. Who reminds you of who from the Pac-12 conference? There's Stanford in the run game.
You referring to Florida State?
Yeah.
Little Michigan State, Florida. Little Michigan State, little Stanford. Really, that's it because it's a lot of two-back. The one-back is very similar to what we're seeing, but in the two-back run game, it's more. It would be some of those guys. To date, with the Stanfords and the Michigan States, you get a little more insertion plays. With these guys, you get a little more true zone. It's more like the Denver Bronco type running attack. It's that type of get it rolling. Those backs find seams and they hit it pretty fast. So that's what makes it a little different. We don't see a lot of two-back zone teams in our conference.
On the throw game.
Throw game is NFL. It's you're going to see some Washington State routes. You're going to see some UCLA routes. You're going to see a lot of the passing routes are a lot of passing routes are similar to what we've seen. But I think the difference is he'll fit the ball in some windows. He's really good. He's really good. It's got fun to watch him on film because he knows what he's looking for. And they'll run a route, then they'll run another route, and that route will be similar. There'll be just a guy will just stop and he'll just put it in there.
Do you try to confuse him with a variety of different looks or stunts, or is it just play really fast and play what we do?
I think our charge all year has been we've got to mix up zone. We've got to mix up some 3-man rush, 4-man rush, 5-man rush, a little max pressure. You got to mix up zones, man-to-man, man-free. You got to mix all it up. And then you got to disguise it a little bit. You just can't. I don't believe you can give quarterbacks at this level. You can't do it. Marcus, just a steady diet of one thing, they're too good. And so you've got to distort the picture to a degree.
Maybe talked at all about what they've done in late in games and how he's always been able to make these unique comebacks from a defensive standpoint of keeping letting it rip throughout the course of the game.
When you watch the film, when you watch the game, you watch the ending of the game and the comebacks. What you see is really what this team is. It's a great team. And so all of a sudden, a player, they need a play and a guy will make a play. I mean, it's some of the same plays they've been running early in the game. It's not a lot of new stuff. It's just the guy will make a play and he'll slip a tackle, and all of a sudden it's 50 yards, and that's what you see. You see their competitiveness down the stretch, and that's this, to win the games they've won without a loss. You're really good, and you have a lot of confidence, and that's what I see in this team. I see a very athletic team that's very confident with a real good trigger guy and leader, and that's what we're going to see on the field.
Last question. DP, what about the matchup with Nick O'Leary? How much of a difficult matchup is he from the tight end position?
You know, he's like some of the tight ends we've seen in our conference in the past, but there's we didn't face a tight end like him this year. You know, he creates some matchup issues because he's a big guy. You want to cover him with a DB? Well, he's a bigger receiver, and with linebacks he's really crafty and he runs really well. So he presents some problems, some challenges, some opportunities.